this was the goal, right? The goal was I was going to go live on both Instagram and YouTube. So I set up the Instagram so that I could go live on Instagram and still be visible on Facebook. That one's not hard, right? I've done that before. What I didn't know was I had a different device, and on this device, I was going to go live on YouTube. So I set both up at the same time, thinking I'll just have the same conversation, and I'll be talking on YouTube and I'll be talking on Instagram, and this will be together. Everything will be fine, no troubles. Ah, novice, what did I know? So it turns out that there was something I needed to do. I needed to state that this video was not for kids. And just because of that, it was just waiting for me. If you don't click that, nothing will happen. Which tells you something, right? That life sometimes is like that, that there's just this one thing that is stopping you. For me, it was just this one click. And if I had just clicked that, boom, I would have been fine and would have been able to do what I set out to achieve. But it didn't work out that way. But you know what? That's not a problem because I'm still here. And so far, nobody has joined in, but that's okay. I didn't really advertise it, right? So, and maybe some people who are going to join in at 12 were disappointed. I'm sorry about that. But you'll watch the replay. All right. So, lesson learned, right? That one thing, just one little thing, maybe what is stopping you, which is actually in consonance with what I was going to say today. I was going to talk about just being 40 years old and what that does to you. Now, when you're 40 and you're living in this space where there's all this social media buzz and everybody's making noise on social media, there's YouTube channels and Instagram pages and TikTok and Snapchat, and there's all kinds of gadgets. There's one I heard recently. I forget the name, but it's something like oh dear, I've forgotten the name. But you know, there are several. There are all kinds of apps and gadgets and ways that people can connect on the internet. And sometimes if you're 40 plus, and especially if you've been working maybe in an office, or you've been working in some private business, or you've been doing your own thing and you've just been connecting only with people who you see face to face, there's a big tendency to just feel lost. Like, oh God, what is all this? I don't know how to do that. And you know, because there's so many people talking on the internet, we think everybody's there. Not everybody's there. Some people pop in and just see what's going on and quickly go back into their shell because it's scary, right? It's confusing. What's worse, a lot of younger people who may not know nearly as much as we know are very vocal about the little that they know. And so you can be intimidated and feel like, I don't know much, I don't know what to say, I don't want anybody to shout me down or outshine me, or, you know, and you can be tempted to just back out and back into your shell. I understand. Before 40, let me tell you what life was like for me. Before 40, I was driven, I had goals, I had dreams and aspirations. In fact, before that, you know, as a young girl, I had all kinds of dreams. Of course, I wanted to get married. Well, not of course. These days, a lot of young people don't want to marry, okay? But at that time, I wanted to get married. But I wanted to get married right. I wanted a happy marriage. I wanted someone who would be crazy about me, someone who will love me, you know, to the moon and back. Yeah. I wanted someone who would be a knight in shining armor. But I also wanted a good career. I wanted to have my own money. I didn't want to be dependent on somebody, you know, be the one that would be looking for a husband to come and give me money to buy sanitary pad. Hey, God forbid. Or needing someone to, you know, bail me out from any kind of, I'm a strong, independent woman, that kind of thing, you know. So I wanted to have a life of my own. As you approach age 25, age 30, you're still pushing all those dreams. You're looking at, okay, wait, this is what I aimed to achieve. How far have I gone? But then what happens when you hit 40? I don't know about you, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say. But when I hit 40. Eh, it was like this realization just dawned on me. One of the things that hits is that life, one day, will finish. It's a thought that is scary, but more than scary, it's a thought that refocuses you. It just rearranges your orientation like, wait, what am I doing? Because by age 40, you've probably seen a few dead bodies. You may not want to, but you've probably seen them. And when you see them, you realize that they don't take anything away. And you realize how much the poor dead body and the rich dead body have in common. They don't move, they don't do nothing, they can't control nothing. Hey! So that realization for me, what it did was, okay, wait. So what? Hi, welcome. I see someone has joined me. I don't know if I can see who. Okay, live chat, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to figure all this out, okay? Please forgive me. But yeah, it just hits that, whoa, this life is actually finite. It's not forever. And what that realization does is, yes, one, it can be scary. But on the other hand, what it does is makes you realize, okay, let me rethink. Let me pause and rethink. Am I chasing the right things? Am I going after the right things? Because if I'm not, maybe I should reorganize and re-strategize. That's what happens when you turn 40. You start to think, am I eating right? Because if I'm not, and before that I could get away with it, after age 40, you may want to start rethinking, because your body starts to really, really amplify all the negatives. If you eat a little junk, it starts to affect you in much bigger ways, and all that. But beyond that, you start to think of legacy. You start to think of impact. I've been working closely with a lot of younger people, especially on certain sites, like LinkedIn, for example. And you find that there's a lot of drive and a lot of passion. And yes, now it's on social media, so it probably looks different. But if you look at it more closely, you see that it's the same thing we did when we were 20, when we were 25. We had our aspirations, our dreams. You want to get that next contract. You want to get that car. You want to get that house. You want to pay those bills. You want to sort this out. You want to raise this money so you can do that next thing. And you're chasing. Then, boom, 40. And it's not a scary thing for those who are approaching 40. Don't panic. It's not a matter of trying to make you afraid. It's a matter of making us face reality. That as you're getting older, there are some things you need to know. Many things. People have talked a lot about all the things you need to worry about. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't, that you should worry, that you should be afraid, that you should start chasing one thing. No. I'm here to tell you that you have a lot. Do you know what it means to live 40 years? You have a lot going for you. There's so much that you have learned. You've learned how not to do many things. You've made many mistakes. You've also learned how to do many things. And there are some things that you have learned that are now like clockwork for you. You don't have to think about it. But they are a struggle for many other people. And they need the information you have. There are so many things you have gathered, you have understood, that many people don't know, and that you can help them to prevent experiencing, because you've already experienced it for them. But one thing holds you back. And this one thing is the difference between you, the person who has gained so much experience. Take, for example, in marriage. I've been married for 21 years. Hello, I know a lot from that experience that many people who have not do not know. And there are a lot of people who are shouting about marriage, talking about marriage till they're blue in the face. And maybe they had 5 weeks of marriage experience. And they ran out because, hey, Jesus, I cannot stand it. And then they're making a lot of noise from that 5 weeks experience. But can you imagine how much you have learned in those 10, 20, 30 years of experience of marriage? What about your career? You've learned so many things, how to do certain things. You know the manual method that you were doing before. You now know how to use apps. If somehow the app crashes, they don't know what to do. But you know the manual method because you were doing it in the old days. Old days? My kids tell me that I am from the olden days. They know not how to survive in the olden days systems. So assuming things crash, assuming the internet crashes, they would be completely helpless. But you know both sides and you have that experience. But then you don't have something that they have. When a newborn baby, these days, it almost seems like it's from newborn that they already know how to use gadgets. Have you seen a 2-year-old playing with a phone? They navigate their way and find one app, find the music that they like, find the things that it beats my imagination. But you see, they were born into this thing. You and I that were not born into it, we're figuring it out and we're reacting in different ways. Some of us that are more fortunate are able to kind of learn and imbibe and, we'll figure it out. But some who are not, guess what? They panic and they just shut down. This noise is too much for me. So they just either remove all the apps or don't even use any smartphone. Let me just be using dumb phone. I call who I want to call, they text me, and I'm fine. We have the whole spectrum. But I want to say to you that if you're watching, or if you watch this later, and you're above 40, I want you to go and sit down and list down the things that you have learned in the different spheres that you've learned them. Whether it is relationships, how to relate with friends, how to keep old friends, and how to sustain new friendships. Whether it is in how to even marry. Some people don't know how to propose. All they know is how to chat on Facebook and on YouTube. What ideas you have? If I share with you how my husband proposed to me, I've not even seen it. I don't even know where he learned it. But if he were to open a school now and coach guys on how to toast, it's a big deal, because some people don't know. They'll go online and try and ask ChatGPT to teach them how to toast, babe. When there are skills and talents, oh my gosh. Hey, when I think about it, there are things you know. There are things you know, how to avoid a conflict with your in-laws, how to handle it when both your mother and your mother-in-law are around in the same space. How do you navigate that space? Hey, the wisdom of 40, you have a lot. You have a lot to offer. What about working with a difficult boss? Working in a hostile environment? Working with colleagues who are beefing you? How to cope with that? If you sit down and write down the things you have learned in this life, it's just that we don't take the time to do it. We don't value what we have experienced. And some of us have experienced these things for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. What about how to manage life growing up without a mom? Some people don't know what that's like. Somebody has just lost their parent and they don't know, they can't see beyond, hey, my life is finished, because their mother was their roadmap for living. And you have been through that experience. But nobody knows you've been there. Nobody knows that you get them. Nobody can connect. Where do I mean, come on. What about deciding to change your baby's diaper and you've taken off the dirty one only to put your hand in the bag and oh my God, there's no diaper in the bag? That's an experience. Hello. You've been through all kinds of experiences. What about dealing with difficult teenagers? You've been there. My point is, at age 40, you have such a well of wisdom, so much information, so much knowledge. What about investing? Have you told anybody about putting your money? I will even share that one later. Putting your money into something, your money and your time and your sweat and your energy into something that was a scam. Many of us have been there. But nobody knows. You know why? Because we keep it all to ourselves. Because we are ashamed of our experiences. But you see, your experience is not about you. Sharing it is not about you. Sharing it is about that person that you're going to help. That because they heard your story, they will not enter that pitfall that they would have entered, that they were heading for. That they will not enter that marriage that would have been a disaster, because you have already entered one marriage that was a disaster, and you want to share with them the things that you should have looked out for that you didn't, but that they can because you have been there. My point is, at age 40, hey, you have, if it is movies you want to create, you can create movies from your story, if you only think about it. So what I want to propose to you is that, guys, let's come together. Let's create a community of people who have value. Some of us need help identifying that value. And I'm happy to help, because I have been through a lot over the past 3 years of helping me to consolidate on my own ideas. I didn't even know how much value I had until these past 3 years. And in these 3 years, I have worked with coaches, I have been mentored and taught, and now I have a few things that have been working in my favor. One, I talk about marriage now. I talk about marriage on Instagram. So couples who are navigating the marriage space, or who are anticipating the marriage space, who are thinking of marriage and want to know what to do. We talk about marriage on the marriage series on LinkedIn. I also talk about public speaking. And this is where I want to come in for you. You have all this wisdom, you have all this knowledge, but you don't know how to package it and to communicate it with the people who need to hear you. I can help you with that. Okay? So my hope, hi Onyechi, nice to see you. Thank you for joining in. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you. My hope is to build a community of people who are able to package their ideas, who are able to come together. Well, thank you for joining in. Somebody else is with us. Thank you for joining in. Yes, come on board and let us work together. First of all, I want to help by teaching you the skills to communicate your own ideas, but also help you by packaging your ideas. Yes, I will connect with you. Once I'm done here, I will connect with you in EG. And package those ideas so that we can help other people. Because now, by age 40, you're not just about hustle, making money and paying bills. Hopefully, you're also about making impact. Because you're also thinking, when I'm done here, what will I be remembered for? You're also thinking, all these things that I have experienced, what's the point? Who can I help? And so this is where I want us to come together. I don't want it to just be about something we do together and then in 4 weeks we're done. The program will be done, yes. But I'm hoping that we will create a community of people who support one another to build something bigger. That if your dream is to help people in one space, maybe it is engineers and you want to help other younger engineers to be able to navigate that space, or you want to help others in the family space or wherever it is, that we can build something together. So come on board, join in by first of all connecting on the first cohort of the Confident Speaker Bootcamp. We're going to talk about confidence. We're going to talk about public speaking. We're going to talk about building capacity. And at the end of it, we're going to launch out. So I'm going to hold you by the hand and we're going to launch out and get started on your own dream and make it happen for you. I'm excited about it, and I hope you are too. So click the link that's attached to this video, and I look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for those who joined in on Onyechi TV. I will be connecting with you, and someone else who I don't know why, but I can't see who you are, but I will connect with you as well. I hope I'll get to see it at the end of this. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Wow, I see 2 more people have joined in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I hope you watch the replay. Onyechi, thank you. And well done. You say you're a new YouTuber. Good. Learn, get started, do it afraid. That's what I say. Do it afraid. I've made my mistakes. I'm still making some. But guess what? We get better every day because we're doing it. So come on board on the Confident Speaker Bootcamp, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining in, and bye for now. Yeah, bye for now. That's it. Bye.